painting. I'm all dressed up for with the clothes that I'm not afraid to spoil. And as you can see, the first layer is done. Now, I'm gonna work on some detailization, basically. Checking some sound as well. You gotta let me know how it sounds. I'm using my new phone to live stream this a microphone, external microphone setup and stuff. And what else? Well, I have my original phone for the reference. Let me show you. So here we are. A second. So this is the reference. It might not be exactly the same way. I always like to add my own touches, just a blueprint. So we shall see. I definitely take some of the details from the front side of the helmet. You see there's nothing there yet. And here you have some ornaments, nothing specific. We'll see. Some of it might be impro, some of it, like, you gotta be feel free with the details. So that's my approach when it comes to painting. But I definitely gonna start working from eyes and this part uh, when it comes to the visualization. Hello, hello. Hi, Matt. Chris is here in the chat. Can you hear me properly, guys? Just let me know if you can hear me well. In the meantime, I'll show you. So from the far, it already looks like it's a done painting to a certain extent. However, you see, there is no specific details. It all was done with a thick brush with this one. So I mean, it's not the thickest one, but it's considered to be thick. And here I use some knife actually to put more of the texture on the sword, and a little bit here as well. But you see, there's not much work done yet. It's just more rough, and yeah, we're gonna detailize it today, at least part of it. So you box and paint? Yes, I do. I definitely did that myself. And before everything, before I even got introduced to sports, I was an artist. I was going to the part-time school, like with my main school, there was a gymnasium, like an art school. So I finished that one. This is where I got my academic knowledge of proportions that helped me to just become better at it. But when it comes to the painting and drawing, it started way when I was 2 years old. So basically, it was just me. Yeah, I just took out the pencil and paper and started just moving it around. And well, many years later, here we are, and I'm I'm back to painting, and I want to show that side of me more on my channel as well. It doesn't mean that training's we're gonna keep going on boxing, and I'm gonna definitely broadcast my fights this year. Everything's gonna be there. However, I also want to show more of the art that I create and will create. So let me look at the chat for a second. Can't use the other mic. Okay, well, I don't have other mic. Let me just disconnect it. Can you hear me well now? Guys, is it better now? Like from this distance? It's a little bit windy, but if it works well, yeah, I'll just leave it without the microphone. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I could hear you the whole time. Okay, well, good. If you still can hear me, I'm gonna put it a little bit closer like this because I'm gonna work on start from this eye. The eyes are my favorite. So I'm gonna start detailizing it right there. So it makes sense to put it closer. Is it still low? I don't know. Well, Guys, on your end, try to increase the sound, maybe the volume on your device, so might work there. But yeah, as I said, I hope my okay. Well, let's. I'll try to use mic again, and I'll try to do what my husband tells me. Turn the plus beside meter up. Okay. Well, it's all on. I think it's all up. Okay, so here it's 0. 1 second. Can you hear me now? Is there any change with the microphone? Okay, keep it says it's loud and clear. Sound is fire. Okay, now it's with the microphone, and now I can increase it extra. Is it okay? It's also closer now. It's closer now, so like I'm gonna sit like this, and you're gonna be able to see the painting and how I'm gonna work on the details here. Okay. Okay, I tried it now. Second go. Cool painting, Mira. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll just look, I'll show you the set quickly. So what do we have here? Basically, it's just 3 colors: gray, black, and white. I'll add some colors if I decide to in the end. And this is the sort of it's oil. You can use a food oil too. That's how I've been painting and drawing my entire life. But this is like that's a special one. The the mixer or whatever it's called. So it helps to dissolve the colors. Yeah, I forgot to get the palette, so I used some whatever I had and last time, and I'm gonna use plate today because it's better. So yeah, basically, here we go. Uh, well, babe, thank you. You can if you charge them up, yes, maybe, but they're dead. So if you can just put them on the charger, it will work. I draw in charcoal too. Well, I have done some paintings in charcoal. I actually draw mirab in charcoal. The problem with the charcoal is to preserve it. You really need to put it in the frame with the glass frame, and it's hard to transport or sell it, like ship it to a customer. But this is oil paintings, by the way. So it looks like charcoal, but in reality, it's an oil, and oil is the most stable one. Okay, let's make sure again, guys, the sound is good. All works. And I can start preparing. Actually, let me put a little bit on the side. I can do some prep like this. Okay, so let's pick up the reference. Just put it like something to aid against them. So that should do. Napkins, wet napkins, both I will need 100%. Actually, let me get another chair so I have it. Not this one closer, so I can put some stuff here. That's why you spray with a clear spray. Even after spray, it's it still gets off. Like charcoal is very very dirty material. I love it. It's nothing has as deep depth in the black as the charcoal, but it's a little bit tricky one. Is that Troy? Well, I mean, you can look at it's technically a female, but looks like a Troy a little bit. We'll see how it ends up. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit of dissolving liquid here in the glass. It's enough. I can always add more if I need to. And we're gonna start from the eyes here. So eyes and the front side of the helmet. We need a lot of napkins. Put it here. That should do. I'll go and look at the chat every now and then just to see your questions. What does art mean to you? Well, it's just me, it's part of me. Since I was 2, I took the pencil in my hand. The art and painting, drawing, creating the visual art was with me way before boxing, way before any martial arts. So, and that's why I think I've been looking at those. Like to me, everything I do is a form of art, one way or another. So even boxing is an art to me, and that comes from, I think, my artistic views and the way I perceive the world. Are those solar panels? I was just wondering myself. I think they are. Yeah, I think they are solar panels. How are you good in everything? I'm not good in everything, just in some things. Okay. Yeah. Let's get there. So here, let me see. We're gonna have to add some depths. Definitely more black here. It's like almost that's like a hard shadow on the both sides, and definitely the eyes, the definition, more shadow inside the eyeballs, the how you call that, the eyelashes, the definition, and the skin texture. So we've gotta have to work on that. All right, I'll show you the process. We're gonna start from this. Let's see. Yeah, this sponge, this brush is good. All right. There are some technical things that should be considered. Like ideally, it's better to have different brushes when you do whites and blacks, and then like mixing brush. But I'm not very clean artist. I like to do it. So detailization is always like right now because I haven't done it in a while. I took it as taking it as an exercise. So what we're gonna do now is first I'm gonna use the white, take a little bit of black, and I'm gonna get to the neutral from from the lighter tones because you can always go black. That's what she said. But yeah, you can always make it dark. It's harder to fix if you go too much black. So here we go. And try to make it more smooth. It's also about to set the tones, and then you can always brush it, blend it in a little bit later after you clean the brush or use another brush. Here we have. I might zone out sometimes, so I might not talk a lot. Now we're smoothing out the skin more, so yeah, basically you can see there's some blood and dirt that can be added in the end. Hello. It's okay. Yeah, no, it's all completely fine. It's softly smoothing out. It's still wet from yesterday, so it's easier to blend it in. Here we have a darker shade. And again, we don't go too dark yet. This is basically cheekbone area, so yeah, kind of have a blueprint for generally face. Okay, so dark here. We're leaving this lighter part. Uh, it's gonna have to get more smoothed out too, but it has to be lighter. The light comes in behind the sword on the side of the face. And as I said, I'm gonna add more texture later. Now the task is to smooth out the skin. Thank you. Okay, let's see the chat. Oh, hi, Kayla. Good to see you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Gonna put it closer. It already looks smoother on the camera too. Use it a little bit, to make some color. Something. It's getting somewhere. It's dark here, but again, we don't go too dark for now. Go for the lighter shades. And here, now we're gonna get some lighter tones too. Might be a little bit tricky to see behind all the blacks the general skin tone, but it's just about to get it approximately where it should be, and then we can cover it with the texture and basically add some imperfections on the skin and blood or whatever it is in the reference. light here, make it white-ish. This is one of the lightest parts about the mouse. We'll also blend it in a little bit. Getting some message here. Okay, so hello, hello again. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, I think well, Chris is advising me to maybe change the camera for now. Um, Basically, do all right. Yeah, basically, Chris is just telling me to be able more to interact with the chat, so I can kind of enter live stream from mine. Let me see. Yeah, so I'm going live stream, and I can see. Yeah, I can see the chat now. I can see you guys. Yeah, I can see the chat now. Okay, I'll just decrease the value. What's for lunch? um, yeah, nothing at least for now. No, when I paint, hours fly by. Plus, she knows art. Yeah, it's kind of the thing that I've been knowing. I think first before everything else, and then okay, okay. Well, I think we're fixed. Well, Vic, let me know if it's yeah, I can I can see the chat now. So um, it's relaxing just to watching you doing your thing, girl. Love it. Thanks, Kayla. My name is Diana, and this is my channel. Well, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna come back to the chat through this phone here and there, but I'm gonna go back to the reference again. So yeah, here's the picture. If you can see, this is more sussed out now. Okay, and I'm gonna just keep doing it, and then we start detailizing it from the eye. I just like starting it from the eyes. I usually do that. So this part maybe jump off here. I might not do it right now today, but that is kind of like a raw plan. Okay, one another look at the chat. Yeah, the channel is back. No worries, and we have increased security now on our many emails. We actually have it all entangled, so it should be good. What is the character? The character is basically it's just a reference. I found the picture and I like the idea, but I like to change the style, so it might not be exactly as a reference because reference is just for to capture the idea, have a little blueprint. Um, there's nothing wrong with having in the reference, like a lot of people say about you gotta draw. A lot of artists, even if they create something from the scratch themselves, they actually create the esquisse and the reference first but they need something to follow on the bigger canva. So whether it's just a picture, a photography, or something, or maybe even it can be few references built in the painting, or it's something that the artist creates themselves. A samurai. Well, I mean, this doesn't really look samurai, but it's a warrior theme, so it's a warrior. Um, it, it's woman. Technically, it is a woman. The original reference is a woman, but it doesn't have to be. I'm actually intending to make it more neutral. That it's hard to say, and I'll leave it up to your imagination. Is the male or female? And you know, I like to do it that way. Okay, he looks calm and confident. Yeah, cool. You see, like for you, it's he, and there's nothing wrong with that. It actually makes sense because even if that would be a woman warrior, she would look as masculine as possible, but with the glimpse of the feminine features. So as I said, I don't like very straightforward. Okay, here's the painting. Here's the whatever you see. It is the way. Even if it's a portrait and it's very defined, I like to leave room for the speculations and the the viewer's imagination. I'm excited for detailing. Thanks. I'm me too. I haven't done it in a while. Okay, that's Troy. No doubt in my mind. Okay, good. Um, yeah, let me know if the video is okay. If it's not too choppy or anything like that. Maybe we'll try to connect the phone to the Wi-Fi. It's data, and sometimes data works way better, but still, like your painting, but your boxing videos, well, that work in a real fight. Oh, it worked in the real boxing. I can't tell you about street fight. That's different. But in the boxing, you have a blueprint. Like in art, you have a blueprint, and there you have certain system that helps you. Same as in the boxing. It's a form of art too. So um, yeah, at least it works for me. Uh, I Chris giving me a feedback on the video and the sound and how it's literally chatting with me right now. So we just making sure the video quality is good. You're a boxer too. How tall are you? On 5'2" feet or 161 centimeters. Not very tall. Okay, it's 5'4" now. Well, I mean, seems like it's set. Right. I'll go for a little bit back to the picture, and I'm gonna get back to the chat after. Okay. So I just wanna a little bit more lighter here. There's also technique if you don't use the mixing brush, nothing wrong with that, but take some technique and experience to be able to blend, especially when you have a certain color, being able with the right technique to blend in the color or the tone. Very careful. You can see it. one of the widest parts too. Getting to make sure it's like this part. Nose is always one of the most prominent parts, so it makes sense that it should be wider. Depends on the lighting as well, but see, little line here, and all of a sudden it gives more val- value. Okay, I think I need to increase the height. Okay, all right. So I think a little bit lighter here, and I'm gonna start adding some darker shades too. So nothing wrong with playing with the lights. It can be smoother, but then you can try and have more, what do you call it? Not a smooth transition between the lighting and shade. There's nothing wrong with that. You can always smooth it out if you need to. Okay, and it's easier to work with when you start lighter first, and then you add up the rest, like darker shades. That's usually a safer approach. However, that again, it's not necessarily how it has to be. Again, blending technique. Don't go too dark, of course. It will like I still preserve that. I make a smoother transition here, but I keep that light, that white line right here. And we add up even lighter. So more light here. That means the light is sneaking in more on this side. Okay, let me look at the chat. What do we have? My husband says I'm also singing. That's true. Insane talent. Well, I like to say, and that might not be the conventional opinion about talent. Talent is a vision, and I witnessed enough people to um, be able to unlock that later on in life. I had the talent, so-called vision, from the beginning. It just happened. Sometimes it happens in the very childhood, and that's easy, and it gets prominent into one way or another. Like in my case, it was art. But then you learn how to unlock vision, you learn how to ask right questions, you practice, even if you don't understand it in the beginning. But then one day you wake up and everything becomes clear. I've seen people doing that in art. I had, there was this guy in the school who was just, just very consistently painting in the corner, but not very talented. You know, he wasn't like his transitions were not so, he wasn't seeing it, but he practiced, he dedicated himself to it. And well, now he's one of the best artists I've seen. Like the pieces he creates is spectacular. You know what I mean? So talent is the one thing, but talent is basically a vision. You gotta still develop the skill, and skill is the matter of training. So, and I believe that it's possible to unlock the vision. The only thing is the time and time commitment. There are same with singers. There was the right vocal training and the right approach. I've seen people who went from average to a strong, very strong vocalist. It just for them to unlock that vision to enter that flow state. It just takes longer time. And well, here is the question: are you ready to commit that much, or to that a certain amount of time? Are you ready to make it as priority? That's the only question. Other than that, if you do it, if you commit to it, if you're consistent, um, you can grow a talent to a certain extent. Yeah, someone says talent is nothing. That's why I like to call talent a vision. It's nothing else than a vision. You just see. Like for example, someone would struggle to put it just because they don't have enough practice, consistency to see. Yeah, some people might have a naturally that vision developed in earlier years of their life, more when they're children, like it happened to me when it comes to art. But it's practice and it's just learning. It's still I still can keep going better, right? There's still more so-called talented artists, but in reality, they're just committed more. They were more consistent. They were more. They developed more skill. Did try different materials here and there, and well, they just basically do it full time. So okay, very wise words again. Once again, thank you, Kayla. I know you would resonate on that one. Okay, so I can see even from the video there is quite a strong transition, but there's nothing wrong with it. We can make it darker more like a layer, especially when you start adding some darker shades. Before that, I need to get into the eyeballs. So here, I actually intend to make it a little bit darker for a more realistic effect. I still want eyes glowing, but I want them to have a shade as well. So now we're going to start doing that from inside here. Usually you always have a little shadow right up there. A bit darker. Here it actually goes almost black, but again, I can do that a little bit later. It doesn't have to be straight away. Okay, even darker. Because it's a circuit shape, we want it to be. So I'm not just the stroke and the stride is important here because it's the circular shape. I'm gonna try to have a circular effect here. See? Can go even darker, but again, there's no rush. It's also an experience. Some artists are so experienced that they just put dark, medium, white, and they just blend it, and it's perfect. So the process is it depends. What is your pace? All that kind of stuff. It's dark enough for now because I'm going to do more detailization here. And well, basically now we can start working. Literally take black, maybe blend in a little bit, but still go dark, way darker. And here we go. Bit of mixer. Sometimes you're going to change the position because from here now I can see the reflection. It's darker, it's better. I can see more prominent whether if I do it from the bottom, it lights up way too much and it's harder to see. specify a little bit of the. Now I'm adding the little strokes which I'm gonna blend in just to create the little bit of, so it's not too flat. It's also good for texture. You can actually do like a texture drawing like this for the small details, and all of a sudden it just gains more shape. You have to be very aggressive either. You can always put more black on the top, and it becomes you can do like a border line with a more black. Okay, I'm gonna use the new brush here just to see how it works. So this is more like a for blending. Just for blending. It's also good for texture. All of a sudden, it's like creates a little more texture on the skin. Okay, let me see from the distance. Oh yeah, it's good. It's getting you see more prominent in this part. Good morning. Do what you love and beauty will show. That's true. Oh, great artwork. Thank you. We're getting there gradually. Okay. Okay, what I'm thinking now is leave this brush for a little bit, and I'm gonna take the small one, and we work on the inner part of the eye, like the eyeball, like this. So let's see, zoom it in. Make it darker, so the eyeball has a more effect. Always add up whites in this case. Just get the neutral tone first. Maybe one's more darker here. Because it's the inner part of the lower eyelid is basically black line. But then we go literally blend in with lighter here. And then we take and blend in a little bit more. It's very subtle line. And black again, just to make it more thinner. Get back to the neutral color. You can use another the blending brush. Okay. Still can go a little bit darker. Yeah, I'm being myself quite careful with how dark I go. It's worth it. Okay. I'm gonna clean up some the brush here. So I like to use the wet wipes. They don't clean it perfectly, but it still does the job. So right here, and this one's fine. A small brush to clean. So it's easier with a small brush, obviously, just like this. Let me look at the chat quickly. So what do we have here? Subtle but makes all the difference. Looks great. Thank you. Oh, well, it's little details. You're right. It's subtle changes makes little differences here. Are you going to color it? Well, I'm thinking to have some elements after I'm done with the main stuff. Maybe some golden color on. So when there's gonna be an ornament in here, maybe a little bit of the sword. So just some golden elements, but we shall see. I'm going to decide that later on. Okay, here we go. Let's make the eyes more prominent now here. So it's very important. It depends, like the length of this line and this stroke, gonna make the difference within the look. Whether the eye is gonna look this direction, that direction, or generally have effect that it looks at you from any direction, or you can make them by accident just uh, direct both eyes differently. So it depends what effect you want, right? So here now, taking the black border. Here I'm not afraid to go dark because it's a very prominent line. There we go. In the original, it's actually even thicker and it blends in a little bit here. See? You can even make like a little texture like this and it's going to be more like sandy. There we have some more lighter uh, parts, but again, it's like here you can improvise a little bit. Like it doesn't have to be perfectly as it is. So this is kind of like the eyeball. So now made the eye more prominent. Whether here it's not exactly the way like it's here, but also gonna add some eyelashes. So it's gonna cover it up more. So I like to have a prominent eyeballs. And what you can do also, you can mix it up more, make like a neutral color. And very thin, you can do a couple lines like this on both ways, like something like this. And all of a sudden, it's gonna create the texture, like you have the lines in your eye. Okay, I'm gonna clean up the brush again because I want to add some whites inside of the eyeball too. It's both whites and blacks. So here we're gonna, let me just take this white here. So I'm gonna add a little bit like this. Remember, more blending. It doesn't have to be very prominent. Just a little subtle effect. I also can do same with the blacks. So here, and it can be even mixed. So it looks like a little grainy. Nothing wrong with that. It can be entire texture style. Nothing wrong with that. Literally can be, you can just leave it this way. Make it a little bit more grainy. I gotta look at it how it looks. You see? It already starts looking more realistic. Those pants are slowing me down. Well, those are the most comfortable pants I ever owned. Yeah, I can see that it gives a little bit more realistic effect because of that little utilization. Pardon me. There is the, for some reason, there is an alarm. How do you turn this off? Can you hear that? Okay, I'm reconnecting. Sorry, guys, for that. It was just alarm playing, and I couldn't just turn it off remotely. Oh, sorry for that. Sorry for that goddamn alarm. Anyways, but you see that grainy texture? I can even show you closer, and you can see the difference yourself. Okay, so look at the eye now, and look here. Certain, it's more texture. Whether here it's already getting a shape, but that can be smoothed out too. So it doesn't have to. It really depends on your drawing style, like how you want it to look. And always go step outside and look how it looks, because you don't want it to be. You want to see the outside effect. Okay, you want to see it from the distance to know how it looks. I would like to smooth it out a little bit. There's nothing wrong. You can always mix a little bit of grainy texture, a little bit more defined. Defined features. But I think I'm pretty much done with the eye, at least the inner side. So now we're gonna go on the eyelashes. Let's try to do some eyelashes here. Also, another uh, good advice. So here now the skin is smoothed out, but what we can do, we can add a little bit, very subtle dots, like the graining on the skin. You see? We just took a little bit of white. That's it. And all of a sudden, it gives it the texture. So before going and working this part, you can do that just to have more grainy effect on the skin. You can go darker, both darker and lighter spots. There we go. And here I go a little bit lighter, for example, because we have some light dropping on this area, so we want it to be reflected. It takes a little bit of patience, it takes some accuracy, but at the same time, you don't have to be very precise unless you're doing hyper realism, which I hate doing. I have the patience for that, but that is as close as it gets because we're gonna have extra texture on it, right? We're gonna have some blood on top, and that's gonna be in the end. I'm just gonna add those in the end, like the black spots. It makes sense to do it now, just a little bit. It doesn't have to be everywhere, just for a little bit of extra effect. See, all of a sudden, you can feel the texture, and all of that done with small brush. You can get smaller too, and blend in a little bit, and don't overdo white. Also, you can blend in some darker spots. So now it looks it looks more realistic that way. And if you make too big of the spots, that's okay. Just blend it in. Just sometimes you gotta use fingers. Nothing wrong with that. So something like this. Also, a very good technique to blend in things. Quite safe. See, shadow with the light. Yeah, it's not bad. I don't have to work all of it right now exactly because I'm gonna do at least here. I'm gonna do the I how do you call that? The I how do you call this thing? I forgot for a second now. Not eyebrows, but eyelashes. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna do eyelashes, right? So it's gonna create an extra texture, and I think it's more than enough here. Let me look at the chat before I continue. Let's see the questions if there's any. Never knew the method is multi-talented. Well, once you learn how to be talented in one thing, it actually helps in other stuff too. She has a great tattoo on her arm. Thanks. The hair and the eyeshadows. Appreciate it. But yeah, I already can see the texture. Like this looks more how I want it to look essentially, right? You can always put extra little details on the top in the end, but like it already looks quite satisfying. Except now I see on the video this is a little bit too much, which is fine. Like you see a little bit of soft bending, of blending, sorry, and it gets better. A little bit more whites again, and I can use the texture effect. See, I don't even need to blend in perfectly. It just, yeah, it just makes it easier. Oh, I'm way behind. I was way behind. Oh yeah, no, it's better now. I can see. Okay, like you did what the next and sort. Okay, eyeliner. Well, yeah, we're gonna now time for the eyeliner and the the eyelashes. Okay, let me get back to the picture. Well, here we're gonna need black, like black. No need. Actually, before I do that, there is a little bit. Has to be a little bit wider right here. Okay, I'm gonna blend it in like this. So lighter effect, and I can use the same technique, like the spot, the dots. Doesn't have to be very aggressive. Yeah, that's here. Technically, it's wider all along like here, and actually, there should be. And here I'm adding line because this is like a very prominent light spot. The sword has to be a little bit darker too, so we're gonna fix that further down the line as well. Here, I'm not looking forward for the perfect accuracy too. Like if the line is more smooth, it's fine. It to me is about to create that effect. And obviously, the smaller our details, the more you can do that. However, it like again, I'm not hyper realist painter. I'm not gonna sit and do that every particle of the skin. I just don't have enough patience for that. But it's okay. That's why art is art, and we have different techniques. And again, because it's a round shape, we still, even if it's a line, we want to round it up a little bit. Okay. Well, now it looks, I think, satisfying. A little bit more here, because on the top of it, there's going to be some of the eyelashes. So then it's going to be hard to add more light effect. It's better to do now, up until this point. A little bit go on the darker side was the lighter. Nothing wrong with that. You can always blend in with something, but I like to have that effect of graininess on the skin. Here, but we can continue this side later. It doesn't have to be now. All right, finally ready for the eyelashes. Basically, black line, quite a prominent black, like a black line. Okay, so even here, even though it's a black, it's the darkest tone, and here it literally blend in, so nothing wrong with you if you blend it more. But you want a little bit of the mixer, like slightly. You can just test it here, and there is nothing like in the beginning. You want to have a very soft stripe, and that doesn't have to be the darkest. You just want to gently stripe it up. And the more it goes high there, the more it's not the thinnest brush, and I'm trying to use the tip of it to make it like so it looks like an eyelash. Here, very gently. Doesn't have to be too dark, and I'll show you in a second. It's the upper eyelash. So you see, it's still not the darkest. I'm gonna go over it when I'm done with the blueprint. It's safer to do just little strokes like this. Okay, and then same with the bottom. So quite long eyelashes. Again, I'm not following each one perfectly. It's more about just having okay. You see, and you want to do some different directions like this. You have to go perfectly. Smaller ones. Just remember to do gently. And here you see it goes darker, so let's blend it in a little bit. Let's see from the distance. Like you see, it already has an effect. The dragon the tattoo has is a badass. Thank you, appreciate it. But yeah, you see, it's not even fully done, but it looks okay. Like it already looks that it is a real eye, not just a silhouette. It's yeah, it's all right. Well, tell me what you think about it. Here we go. Like not bad at all. And the thing is, Now I can go darker. Now again, I go deep into a black paint, stand from the top so I can see better, and do like a line, a liner, proper one. It goes dark, black, yes. That's good. More like you can blend in like this. Blend in, a little line again. Okay, more darker on the top. Top as well. Ideally, it will be a thinner, will be a thinner brush. Okay. And here's the trick. It's both lighter like this in the darker parts. It actually makes sense. And we're gonna add more white now. Yeah, doesn't look bad at all. That's okay, Kayla. Thanks for being here. And well, I see you next one. Hope to get back training as well. And well, from now on, it's going to be a little bit of art, a little bit of boxing, and basically all of it. And here is the trick. Now I'm going to clean this one. And even though in the original painting we don't have that much of the, like this is quite a dark area, I'm just going to add little bit, a little bit of white. Like right on the beginning of the eyelash. Just couple and same here, especially on the lighter part. So we want where the light is coming on the face, we want it to be. Okay. Well, I'll leave it for now like this. I'm not gonna do more than that. Thanks. You have a good night. Enjoy. Okay, now I can add even more black, but now I'm gonna do it right here in the shadow. It's this thing. With the same brush. A little blending in. That's also should be good. Well, basically, spots. Good thing is because in the end it was gonna have a lot of black here too, with more like a blood and gray. From the beginning, doing like a little bit of dot transition. There's nothing wrong with that, even if it's a little bit darker, because I'm gonna blend it in anyways. Takes a little bit of patience, but basically that's how you get that good, nice texture. Don't be afraid to experiment. Okay, gonna add some neutral color too. Let it eat a little bit, like a lighter, more like a gray, just to squeeze it out. Gonna add up some lighter spots too. It also depends on the made shadows, okay, guys? So always look. That's why I did the first layer. Now I know where's the darkest spots, and that now I can play a little bit with the grain like this. See, all of a sudden it changed the texture, changed the effect. It looks way more detailized. And in reality, it's not really hard. It's just a different technique. So in the beginning, first layer, I would do like the big strokes, right? And then I blended it. You see, even today, first thing I did, I just evened it out to know exactly where the shadow should be. And now with this technique, it's same blending. It's just a different way of doing it. So here I can get white again, or at least mix it with the white, make it a little bit lighter. Of course, I can also clean the brush, but too lazy. But that's okay. This looks okay. I'm not gonna make it darker. With this technique, it's very safe. You did correctly because in the skin you have the definition anyways. So again, if it goes too dark or too white, I can always manage it. But definitely add more of the light spots as well. Now here it gets darker again, so I will transit to darker spots. Oops. Oh, shit, sorry. But see, we have neutral area, so I'm just gonna, instead of jumping from one spot to another, I'm just gonna work this one out. Because here it's a mix of lighter and darker. It's like safer areas. But you can see all of a sudden the effect is changing. It's more grainy, seems to be more detailized. You see, like this area now compared to this is way more detailized. You see the chat quickly. You're kind of like a samurai doing art as well as boxing. Well, I like samurai philosophy and general. That's a form of stoicism, and I embrace every stoicism, every direction of the stoicism. And yeah, it's about the finding the balance between art, gracefulness, and creativity, and like more of the brutal force and resilience. I really like that mentality. Spotting technique looking great, makes the skin come alive. Looks like natural lighting hitting the skin. Now you did it. I can really tell the difference. Well, yeah, I can even show you a little bit closer. Obviously, you see directly. It's way more real now, like that part. But if you come closer, it's actually quite chaotic. It's not that detailized, and that's my favorite part about the creating art and painting. I'm not really working through each and every spot on the skin. That would be hyperrealism or something close to that. However, if we put it further, it looks quite realistic to me. So yeah, there is like again, it depends on your style, what you prefer, which style you prefer, what effect do you want to end up with, and it's about the distance. Some paintings like hyperrealism is when you go close and you still see like it will be in the picture. You know, you see that definition because it's way more precise. But then to be, it would not be very different from the actual picture. And another thing, as I said, I don't have enough patience. I'm not that. I think people who are in the hyperrealism, they're rather having a great patience or they're just having OCD or something. I'm not one of those people. So there is a limit of the hyperrealism that I can do. However, I'm trying. I'm trying to make it more detailized and create a good effect of the painting here. Amazing. The left eye starts looking like a punter. Awesome battle. Thank you. Oh, like we don't have blood yet, so I'm doing a skin texture, but there's some very interesting elements of the black, which has to be applied carefully and smart. But I'll show you how to make it easier too. Okay. You just get back to it. Uh, so yeah, more neutral texture here. You can always set up more darker shades too. So graining technique is one of my favorites. Can be done with a smaller brush too, but this one is okay. It's not impossible. Okay, so now this area actually has to be darker, but we're gonna do a very careful blend in, and the graining technique is perfect for it. I'm not even taking new paint. I'm just keep going with whatever I have now left on that brush. Okay, now we go a little bit darker. We work on that transiting areas quite accurately. Add up some details, some spots to make it look more of the like natural curves of the face. Okay, go even darker here to come out from the shade now. This is actually quite dark. That has to be a little bit darker. But before we go to the darkest points, we need to keep blending it in softly. See? Now it's the shadow expands. But we go the further the shadow goes, the lighter it has to be. So it's way safer. At least that's a safe technique. You go start from the lighter shadow first. Okay? Quite windy today. Okay. And now we're gonna go dark. Use your fingers sometimes, nothing wrong with that. Actually here, because it's very defined line, I don't need gray. So here I just go like make sure that I get to the dark line, how it's supposed to be here as well. I don't need grays here. I could just go definitively. Risk it a little bit, nothing wrong with that. Not really a risk, but it might look for some people, it might look that it's risky. I still blend in already, but it's more a defined shade here. Blending it. Okay. Transiting to the grain technique again. Again, blend in. It goes all the way like this under cheek that it's quite dark. It's not black, but it's quite dark, and we want to create that cheekbone volume. Is that gonna make a difference? That's definitely gonna make a difference. here we're gonna have, apart from the shade, as you see, this is quite shady area, so I'm gonna get it together. It's also like a black, bloody spot. So I'm not doing that yet. I'm just making it darker generally, putting the applying the proper shade. It's soft spots. It has to be more. You see also how it's easy to fix if you start from light to dark, and especially with the grain technique. After applying the right blueprint, it's way easier to blend it in. This is lighter spot, and from here it actually goes, yeah, goes darker. So we don't want it to be flat generally, obviously, but when you make it darker, it might get a little bit flatter. Nothing wrong with that. You can always add up the lighter parts and the darker parts and create that depth. So it should be fine. It will be all good. I feel like was it Bob Ross who would like just have a art show, and he would just, like, his talking was very soothing. He was like, just test it out, just risk it, a little bit here, a little bit there. Just thought about it. It's also important. Usually, like in the blueprint, this would be quite light, but again, because the light comes somewhere from there and it sneaks in behind the sword, this has to be darker too, but we're gonna get there. But this is quite light. However, like up until to this point, it gets quite shadowy. So now we try to recreate that effect. It's a little bit of graining technique, a little bit of the defined transition, like this curve. Here we can also go a little bit darker, a little bit more intense. Nothing wrong with that. Also imagine when you do that with the colors. I'm gonna try to get to the colors, but in my opinion, the graphic, like black and white, is a good practice. It's a good practice to uh, get into the, well, technique, I would say. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't start with color. You can go with the color straight away if you want to. However, like to be, I like black and white. I always did. I think most of my artwork, recent artwork, is black and white. So greetings again. It's beautiful. Could ask who's that? Any Viking or Valkyrie? I'll leave it up to your imagination. Yes, it's it's whatever. It's a warrior, and other than that, it's whatever you see. Are you planning to using colors on adding black depth, greater depth in contrast? In this one, I think I'm gonna add more effect of the golden effect. I'm still thinking about it, but when I'm done with pretty much the painting, all I will have to, when I have ornaments here, I will add up some golden effects, like golden paint. The eyes, so more of the um, deity effect, maybe Scandinavian, whatever, or like a flow state, just to make it more powerful. But in this case here, I'm not using any blue, any brown, and that is another thing. That is also another practice that I might try. I might try to make a painting which is gonna have a lot of black and some white, but it also gonna have orange, blue, purple, and brown colors, and red too, because those are the colors, main colors that make the skin tone, and you can make it very interesting. You can actually make a very good effect with minimal detailization. You know what I mean? Um, Great practice for getting into it. But yeah, at this point, other than that, I'm not really looking forward to. At least at this point, yeah, I'm gonna keep it black and white, and like as realistic as I can make it. And then add some golden. Okay, darker here too. Goes way down. So here we're gonna be a little bit more careful. It goes to the lighter side, so we're gonna mix in some neutral tones like grayish, light gray, dark gray. And even with like I still apply it with the same tone. Nothing wrong with that because that's gonna blend in. It's all about to create that transition. Pretty much it goes all the way here. This is lighter part now, but it's still not white. So the only really light part is here. And even there, we need to do a smoother transition. Okay, it's gonna go to generally lighter, more like a gray neutral texture. It's good for to neutralize that grayness. And it also it doesn't have gray like it doesn't have to be grainy all the way. Some places gonna be more smoothed out, which makes sense if it makes it look more natural. There we go. See, I think it still has to be darker. Yeah, like up until here, I would say. Some black is there as well, so we're gonna get there. It's very interesting. Gonna be a very interesting layer. Okay, that looks like a good transition now. Gotta check its proper distance as well, but you know, flattens this area and makes a good transition because this is more prominent. This has to be more reduced. See now I'm blending in the grading and basically just smoothing it out. Two different techniques. And even with the white style, or just more just going a little darker here, and then clean it up. Time to clean it up. I sometimes do that. I try to stretch it out as long as possible. I don't know why, but here now it's and go lighter here, and you see now the mouse is another detailization, so I'm not gonna go there too much for now because I would have to focus on the entire mouse here, the shadows and everything that is like has to be. Yeah, it definitely has shadowy area, so I'll do a little bit of edge cover and paint, and so it's also good proof that yeah, you're gonna have some more prominent the darkest line here up until like there, but then you have shadows and it creates that nice curve, the natural transition, the shape of the outer mouth area, the cheeks, some wrinkles, like it just creates that. It's actually very interesting when you try to paint with wrinkles or older people, it becomes completely different because they have so much. Um, you gotta do that right definition. So I would say painting younger people is way easier, way easier, and just smoothly blending it out there. Yeah, it's a little bit dark, but see what's gonna happen in a bit. And I add some neutral gray and whiter. Now I'm going a little bit aggressive technique, so it's not that precise and accurate, but who cares? I'm gonna blend it in anyways, and there's gonna be texture on the top anyways. So now I take gray, like more of the neutral. Yes, like this. Still creates a shadowy effect, but very mild shadow. Not too deep, not too aggressive. Well, guys, let me know in the chat. Let me actually look the live stream from here. Skip to the live. Yeah. Do you like that kind of live stream? I mean, I'm still gonna do it every now and then. I might not do it all the time, but um, thank you, appreciate it. The cheekbones don't seem to have the dimensions. Uh, Also, I'm sorry for criticizing so much. Well, that's okay. Well, it's a process. Uh, it's still, you're right. This needs to be more worked out, but I don't want to kill by accident this slight effect. So yes, it has to be more. That's what we're working gradually, and everyone has their own pace. You know, some people that actually makes the difference between more experienced or more consistent artists comparing to someone who does it once in a while. Like I'm just being more careful with uh, not spoiling it by accident. Whether some people are just like they are already so used to creating it. So yeah, this also has to be more darker because this should be more prominent. So if it's that dark, or I will add some lights if needed, this side has to be darker too because usually this part is not except the chin, this part and except the upper lip, like this has to be faded a little bit. But we're doing it gradually here right now, so also the lip shape is going to be more changed and made into more realistic. If this shadow goes too loose up there, nothing wrong with that. Just go get the lighter shade of gray or even take the white. It's good to have a more neutral shade. What you can do, you can just kill it down a little bit and just decrease that darkness. And again, you do the blending. So this technique, as I said, is quite safe. You can do it multiple times. You can do it many, many times. Make sure that it's not too light, so it's not doesn't look weird. As long as you achieve that shape, it's better. Here, okay, we're also gonna do some work, but not yet. Also, this cheekbone, we want to fade it out a little bit. It's not supposed to be that light. Lighter. Technique. Be careful with when you have uh, quite a solar opposite. When you have like a white with the darker, try to blend it in carefully. Yeah, other than that, it's all good. Even in neutral areas, just we're gonna since we're doing that a lot of texture, we're gonna keep doing it. So the areas that are not neither dark nor too light, I just go even there. I just change the texture. So just go with my small brush right there, just blending it in, making some dots, making some doodles. That will be photography. You mean hyperrealism? Maybe. I'm not nothing against it. I think it's an incredible skill and incredible amount of patience when people do hyperrealism. I'm not one of those people. I prefer to have a. I like realism, and I try to do my best with this painting now to make it as realistic as possible, as alive as possible. But Yeah, again, it's not going to be like a picture. When you go closer, you will see the painting. You will see the strokes and the dots and whatever it is. Okay. I gotta follow the time because I have some work to do a little bit later on. So gotta have my eye on time because I can do that for hours without eating, drinking. By the way, did I bring the water? I think I forgot the water. But anyways, yeah, without drinking, without anything, I can literally. Okay, so here it's actually lighter here. So I'm gonna go and make it more natural. Yeah, you have shadow, but it gets heavier on this side. Like this has to be more blend in. And I gotta add some darker shades too, but not now. I have to do it now. But for the effect, I actually can show you. So this one is actually quite dark. This has to be. I don't even have the proper lip shape yet. I mean, it looks like it's proper, but it's not. I'm gonna take more details. But this is quite like this part. It's like quite dark, and it also has the lighter. So I'm gonna go light. It's like a very edgy area where it has to be lighter right above, and then it has to be almost white. Here, there's not gonna be a problem, but I need, as I said, I need to make a proper shape first. So I can already do that a little bit in the upper lip. And now it's a little bit bent in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do it's actually good that it blends in like the way it does now. Because that upper lip line is very important how it lays on the canva. Okay, let's try again. Careful, need to mix it a little bit with the dissolving liquid. It's a little different, it's not big, but again, I'm not gonna work too heavy on this part yet. What I'm gonna do though, I'm gonna clean up my brush again, and I'm gonna fix the make the center like this part more natural. So here I'm gonna need white. Actually, this part doesn't have to be perfect either, especially depending on the art style. But because I want to be quite realistic, I want to pay attention to details like that. And you see, it just got a little bit darker here. It's nothing wrong with that actually. It's actually not a bad thing. It's still whiter, but it creates that natural curve because this is the lightest part. This is still light, but not as. And here it's going to be like the transition here. And all of a sudden, it's the effect already changed even without me really working much on it. This has to be darker too, but again, we're gonna work on it properly a little bit later on. Here, you can add some grading. Nothing of this line has to be quite white, but it still can be more like a smoother transition. So you can just like I left a little bit dots. I clean the brush again, and now I use a very subtle technique to blend it in to preserve the graviness, but also have the this like a good defined light right here. And Well, it already changed comparatively speaking, the shape of the upper lip. And yeah, I'll work on it on the different time. I think I'm gonna be wrapping it up for now. Let me just see the chat. Let's see how it looks forward and see myself how it looks actually. Yeah, that curve right there actually needs to be changed a little bit too. Like it has to be more directed the right way because you don't want to be like it has to be aligned with your nose, right? That's, asymmetry is fine, a little asymmetry, but to make it as natural as possible, like this part, for example, has to be more blended in, and this the white can come up even, like so, basically changing the direction of the. See little details like that. Oh, I and that. Oh, I think that already seems better. Yeah, little details like that, and it already makes some of the difference. Yeah, that's better. But anyways, guys, basically, let me look at the chat. Yeah, the chat is quite chill now. Well, you can ask me questions for next few minutes if you want. Yeah, basically, the artwork is how it looks. This side is already worked out, at least partially. This is you can see the difference between these two, and just put it properly. There we go. Yeah, so having some progress here, and I've been missing painting. I was looking into getting some materials, and fortunately, just got it for very very cheap, very affordable, and just decided to get back to it, and I did it. So you gotta stop procrastinating at times and just do it. But anyways, guys, well, I'm gonna wrap it up now. Thank you very much for being here. Wish you the best day, the good day and good night, depending where you're from. And I see you in the next live stream. As I said, it's gonna be some of the my artwork now. Still gonna be boxing training. I'm just gonna get back to the groove and do the boxing live streams as well. And I'll try to show more of all of it, everything that I do. So stay tuned, and I see you next time. Ciao.